Is Star Trucker just elite dangerous without any combat or opponents? Watch on and find out. My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play. Star Trucker by Monster & Monster is an interesting take on the survival genre. I have about 4 hours into this game, which is how I know it's a survival game. You might be confused because I talked about Elite Dangerous, which is decidedly not a survival game. It's a spaceship game where cargo transport might be one of the key elements to your gameplay. Well, Star Trucker is also a space truck game where cargo transport is definitely one of the key elements to your gameplay. And that's because the only other two possible ways to earn money in this game are a different form of cargo transport and apparently salvage, which I never got to. But this is a space game and it involves trade of a kind. And I love both space games and trade games, so I dove in without really knowing what I was into. And if I knew what I was getting into, I might have taken a pass. You see, the core premise of the game is interesting enough. You drive your space truck around from star system to star system, and you take on cargo hauling jobs and try not to crash and or destroy your truck and or the cargo in the process. Simple enough, right? You would be so wrong. You see, despite being a truck in space, your truck in space is very much a space truck. And space trucks have a lot of complex systems to manage. That complexity is mostly boiled down to managing power and maintenance. Your truck systems are all powered by individual batteries, and managing the power charge on those batteries is critically important. When a system runs out of battery, that system stops functioning. No surprises there. You can make do without gravity in the truck, although things tend to fly around and might be damaged in the process. But you can't make do without, oxygen. You kind of need to breathe. Batteries in this game aren't rechargeable. You drain them to near empty and then sell them at various shops. It's important not to drain them to completely empty because, for whatever reason, a nearly dead battery is worth more in resale than an actually dead battery. I guess Space Future hasn't figured out how to be more environmentally friendly, but whatever. Batteries aren't cheap, and there are a few batteries in different capacities that get more and more expensive as the capacity goes up. Maintaining a pile of spares in your truck at all times will prevent you from mishaps, and vigilance in tracking your power levels and swapping batteries is vital. There are also control circuits for each of these systems which can wear out, a breaker panel to turn systems on and off in order to replace the control circuits, and more. The cabin also has air filters which need to be routinely swapped out. If you didn't see where this is going, let me paint a clearer picture for you. The reason that this is a survival game is that this game is 80% managing these little knickknacks, which feels a lot like survival crafting recipes, and 20% doing everything else. If you don't keep all the systems functioning, you die. If you crash into stuff in space, it damages your hull, which can result in hull breaches. If you don't repair the breaches quickly enough, you lose all your oxygen, and you die. If you run out of gas, you can fill your truck with spare gas from gas cans, or you die. Money is hard to come by in this game, even with all the jobs that are available to you. Except that the moment your early game truck warranty expires, it seems like all the jobs on the job board dry up. As you do manage to complete these jobs, you earn cash, which is good, and you get experience points. The experience points eventually level you up, which gives you a skill point to spend on the skill tree. The skill tree unlocks bigger and or more complicated cargo and a few other benefits. There's a whole system of truck customization that's available to you, but I never got far enough into the game to experience it. I played a little bit through the first time, failed horribly, and restarted. So, in my 4 or 5 hours of gameplay, I really barely got out of the tutorial. And why is that? Well, this game is extremely slow. It is, at its core, despite being a survival game, also a truck driving simulator. And you know what driving a truck is like? Well, it's pretty slow paced. There aren't any space pirates chasing you. There's no combat. You're mostly trying to keep the truck from hitting things, and it responds sluggishly, well, because it's a truck. Every time you want to interact with a shop or cargo, you have to, unsurprisingly, stop and back up into things because it's a truck. Now, the need to have the truck back up into the job board just like you back up to hitch up a trailer is, frankly, annoying and unnecessary. And then to have to do that for all the shops too is even more annoying and unnecessary. It just makes everything take so achingly long to accomplish. It sure is an, authentic experience, sort of, but it's a painful experience. I mentioned the other ways to make money. Most of the systems I encountered have shops with a few exceptions. Each shop sells some goods, and each system may have either higher, lower, or neutral prices for those goods. In addition to the jobs hauling trailers, you can stuff your cabin full of goods and hope that you bought low in order to sell high. You have a limit to the weight of junk you can carry in the cabin, and there are systems with weigh stations that will check your weight, and you'll get fined if you are overweight. You might get fined for speeding, or reckless driving, or hitting things. You might lose money on a job for any of this. All of it is expensive. Repairing your truck is expensive. You can also upgrade your truck once the warranty expires, but I never really got into that either. On the Star Trucker Discord, a lot of folks talked about being in constant and crippling debt, trying to dig out of a hole only to hit something with the truck and need to repair it and land right back in debt again. This sounds an awful lot like the mystery that is the reality of trucking, and I play video games to escape the misery of my reality. Don't you? Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict. This game does offer a bunch of configuration levers at the start if you want to dial up or dial down the difficulty, and you could probably find some setting that lets you achieve the level of misery you desire. But the recommended setting for first-time players really left a lot to be desired. Overall, the gameplay is good, but it is really and truly slow. It is a very laid-back game in terms of its pace, but it manages to be an extremely stressful experience in spite of it. On my trademark 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, it rates a meh mostly because it's a solid title that seems to be well executed in spite of having an extremely small dev team and a few bugs. I'm hesitant to rate it as a must-play, but if you have Game Pass, you have access to it, so it's worth a shot just to see if the miserable trucking life is your thing. Some people are gluttons for punishment. I prefer to be a glutton for gas station sushi. No, that's not true. Nobody wants gas station sushi.